Hello there. I decided to make a behind the scenes video of how I go about making my YouTube videos, and I thought I'd post this up on my Patreon page for those of you who support me through Patreon, and give you kind of a little bit of an idea of how I go about planning and crafting and making these YouTube videos. It's all me. I'm the only one doing it. So, and I try to do them on Fridays, although lately I've been extending them into the weekends and spending the weekend working on these things. So it's Friday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun hasn't risen. It's really early. I got into my office early today to work on a video. So usually by this time on Friday morning, I have an idea for a video, and I'll have like a rough script. I'll try to write as much as I can at night up to Friday so that I'm not spending too much time doing the research portion of my videos. So let me take you through, and I'll talk a little bit about how I do my research, where I find things. So usually I'll have an idea for something, and of course the first thing I'll do is I'll kind of check the internet and see what is out there. And so this week I'm going to be profiling a really interesting amazing fossil that was discovered in Texas, a little fossil primate. So this is the specimen, and this is actually a really cool scan that was done and provided on the internet by the University of Texas of the specimen, which is cool. I can use some of these images, which is great. These include some of the micro CT scans of this. If you're interested, you can download a STL file for 3D printing if you want to 3D print this specimen, which is really cool. This is the endocast that you can 3D print, which is pretty neat. So usually I'll just do a straight Google search on a topic. Usually the scientific name of a species will help. So you know, a straight Google search will pull up a lot of stuff. Interestingly enough, on this critter, the Wikipedia page is really pretty teeny, but that's one place to kind of start. Most of this is referencing the University of Texas website there. So the next thing I will do is I will do a literature search. And the one that I usually go to on this is Google Scholar. And Google Scholar will get you a lot of times to some of the primary literature. So this is actually much better than a straight Google search because it's usually peer-reviewed papers, and then I can link off these. So sometimes, like for example, this one here has been posted by the author, and so you can actually get a really nice download of the scientific paper. So you don't even have to leave your chair to find a lot of good information, and I'll be kind of talking about some of this in this video. So the other thing that I look at is I look at books, and books actually are sometimes a lot better than individual scientific papers, because books will often contain review chapters, give you a little bit more context of the fossil and stuff. And so this week I'm actually using quite a bit a textbook on primates that I used in a class I took years ago by John Flegel. It's a nice one because the nice thing about these textbooks and things like that is they summarize a lot of important information. So if I need to look up something very quickly to give kind of a general thing, or to look up terminology that might be in a scientific paper that, you know, I'm like, what were they talking about here? I can look in books and textbooks. So my library is organized in the Dewey Decimal System, and I know general paleontology over here with my Stegosaurus there. Dinosaurs are over in this section. My fossil mammal stuff in anthropology is down here. I got my evolution books over here, sort of anatomy and comparative anatomy here, herpetology, ichthyology down in here, ornithology down in the corner, mammalogy down here, and then sort of the general stuff, including some anthropology down here. Now sometimes I don't have a book, and so I have to use a library, either a university library or the library in town, the city library, to find some books. But there's another source of information that I use, and I used it for this video, so we'll have to go take a look at that. So one of the great sources of information that I can access, and I did it for this video, is reprints. Reprints are basically when, they don't do it anymore, but they used to do it, probably quit doing it around 2000, but that was that, you know, once a scientist would publish a paper, they would get a reprint of it, maybe like 20 articles or so, and so they would often send them out to fellow scientists to have a copy of it if they were interested in the topic. And so reprints have kind of been a vital thing in paleontology for a very long time. And most of mine are cataloged, so I can look them up. I have kind of a weird system because I've inherited quite a few reprints over the years from various people, and many of them I still have to go through and organize, but a lot of them I have organized. So after I've done like a lot of kind of reviewing, reading books and chapters and stuff, then I'll start composing the script. And usually I'm going for about 1,000 to 2,000. If I get up to like 3,000 or 4,000 words, then it gets a little too long. So ideally, between 1,000 and 2,000 words is sort of the ideal script. So I start scripting out, and what I want to do in my script is I want something that tells a story. And so sometimes I get kind of bogged down in details, but I want to tell a story. So I want it to have a sort of beginning, middle, and end to it, and that as you go through, you learn something too. So a lot of times I like things where I start to kind of go into a little bit of detail on the subject. So one of the things with Rooney that I think is the great controversy over this fossil is whether it's a fossil monkey or a fossil tarsier. So, so I'm going to make that kind of as the story, talk a little bit about the debate on its phylogenetic position within other primates and other fossil primates from North America. Start reading it, and by myself, just reading it over and over, and just to make sure it sounds kind of good. If I'm repeating myself or doing anything weird, so I'll read it over and over and over again out loud. And by doing that, then I can kind of tweak it. The other thing is I kind of break it up into sections so that I kind of can easily memorize certain parts of it. So I read it over and over again. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to print it out. All right, so we got our script, and now we'll set off to go film. So grab a camera, grab a microphone. All right, so this is the grand studio. This is the black that I use behind my videos. And this is basically a simple setup. So I have my tripod situated there, and the hot seat is there. And I've been trying to do some stuff with microphones, trying to get some issues down. So one of the things I was using is a lapel one, which worked okay for a microphone, but when I'd move, it would make sounds. So sometimes I'd have videos I couldn't use because the sound quality is bad. So I'm trying this new setup. So I got this little mic here that I try to get really close to. I got some complaints in the last video using this, so I'm trying to figure out a better system to use.
Test 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3.
So one of the biggest challenges I have is that I don't have a camera yet. So I don't have
good.
someone
Test 1, 2,
to
3. Test 1, 2, 3.
to film, and so I have to adjust everything myself. So this becomes kind of problematic, as you can tell.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Audio checks out. Here we go. Welcome to another exciting video about the fossil record. My name is Benjamin Berger. So kind of a secret here that I don't think I've talked about on my YouTube channel that I'll tell you guys since you're my supporters is that well, it's not really a secret. My wife's a professor here as well. She teaches anatomy, and so I snuck into her teaching lab and stole this skull so I could demonstrate some things. So we're gonna go over to her lab next door and return this, which I didn't steal, I borrowed. And so we'll go over to her place and return this. So this is the classroom. This is where we teach various classes that are not on YouTube. I teach petrology, which is the study of rocks under thin section. So these are petrographic scopes that we use for that class. We also have a collection for mammalogy, ornithology, herpetology, those types of things in this classroom. So it's a small classroom for small classes of about 20 students we can accommodate. And then I share the space with a wildlife biologist, and so we got osteology collections and things like that that they use for teaching. All right, so then when I get back from the studio downstairs, I then have to download all of my stuff off my camera and start the editing process. The editing process takes the longest. Because usually I record about three or four, depending, sometimes two, of each of my lines. I pick the best one. So that means I have to watch not just the length of the video, but I have to watch every single cut of each one of those, which is like 3, sometimes 4 times the length of a video. And then I have to put it all together. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get, come on, come on. There we go. So this one I did 98 videos, and so I import them onto my computer, and while it's doing that, then I'm going to go for a run. So I usually run 4 miles a day, so I gotta go do my run while this is importing. So it's a fantastically chilly mid-January, so great day to go out and run. So you're probably wondering about all of these paintings that I have in my office. Well, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I am an artist. I do a lot of painting and sketching, and I post on Instagram. I've been doing a lot of sketching lately, but I have a lot of paintings as well that I've done. And so I have a lot of paintings that I have in my office. So this one right here is a painting I did of Club Creek petroglyphs, not too far from here. This is in some Triassic rock units, the Nugget and Navajo Formation. Above that is the Lador Canyon, the famous Lador Canyon. John Wesley Powell paddled through, including Disaster Falls in that area. And that one up there, you've probably seen that scene from some of my videos. That one is the Green River, Cowboy Canyon along the White River. Some outcrops of the beautiful red Nugget sandstone, or maybe I think that's Entrada. And then this one right here is some Cretaceous sandstone of a Cocobelli petroglyph that I painted right there. It's just across the border in Colorado. This big one up here is my dissertation research area in Colorado, and that distant mountain way out in the distance is Grand Mesa. And then over here I have the Washakie Haystacks, Capitol Reef, Utah, the Yampa River Canyons, and Island Park. All right, so I use Adobe Premiere for all my editing that I do. And so the first thing I do is I create a new project. So there's always something that goes wrong. So this week, somehow my autofocus got turned off in a couple of my videos. So I'm trying to kind of go through, and I might have to re-record some of my videos. All right, so what I've done here is I've got a cut of just one video and one audio going through here. And so I can play it and go through, and I've edited it so that it's basically following the script, and I basically have the cuts between the two and the different scenes, but there's no visuals. There might be a few visuals that, let's see if I have some in here later on, that I might be holding something or doing something with the skull there. And so I basically put this together. I have the best cut of all the cuts that I've added into here. So I haven't processed it anything. And so what I'll do is, after I get it all kind of edited up to the end, I can get a good sense of the length of it. And now what I'm going to do is then add in all of the extra stuff, the images, any graphics, any transitions between the videos. Now it'll take me a little while because I'm going to have to find some images to use. All right, so it's 4 o'clock and I've been working on the editing, adding images, adding things into it, some quick little animations and stuff. So I've been working for pretty much most of the afternoon, for about 4 hours now, and I think I got a good version up that I'm going to test out, and if it's good, then I'll produce it. Waiting for the video to process. We got 21 more minutes. So this is the exciting part, waiting for it to process. And as soon as it does that, then we'll be able to post it. The sun is setting now. It's 5:30, so I've been doing this about 10 hours. So hopefully we'll get this video up there. All right, so it is 5:45 and we're about to publish it, and it's all uploaded and set to go in YouTube. And so here we go. Boom. So and then there's a few things I need to do once it's uploaded. I gotta go in and add a few things at the end, and then we'll be live. But that's the process. It's a long day. It's night again. And so that's my YouTube day, Friday. So we successfully got this YouTube video produced in a single day, which I'm excited about. All right, so the video is up and getting views, and now I'm heading on home after a long day, putting together a YouTube video, and I got it up on Friday night, which is good. I didn't have to come in on the weekend to finish it. So I'm hoping to do that more often. So thanks for tagging along and seeing how I make these YouTube videos and the whole process from morning to night. Thanks.